Super Typhoon Yagi, at one point the strongest storm in all of 2024 thus far, has made landfall in southern China, and there is no way around it. This storm system is dangerous and severe for our friends out here in Hainan. After this made landfall here on Friday afternoon, moving towards the west and now moving over the biggest population on the island, with the eye passing right over Haikou. So this is still a ongoing and very dangerous storm. It did weaken just a bit yesterday, but after we went through a bit of an eye wall replacement cycle, it got its act together. And yeah, you can see these upper level cloud tops just cooled right off. And that was just a potent storm system. Now with land interaction and a little bit of dry air kind of filtering in here from the north, we are going to start to see some slow weakening. But just to note though, with statistics here, only 2 super typhoons since 1943, so when JMA really started keeping track of records here, have made landfall in Hainan. 7 severe typhoons, only 34 typhoons. Now, you say only 34, that does seem like a lot, but the fact is, even just 2 super typhoons is not a high number given the amount of storm systems that typically form out here across this portion of the Western Pacific. So yeah, it's definitely something they're not terribly used to here in Hainan across the peninsula here. It's very, very dangerous storm. Winds right now 125, gusting to 150 knots. So intensity's backed off just a little bit. But this still is going to remain pretty potent as it cruises off here towards the west into Vietnam, where rainfall really one of the big issues at this time. I mean, they're saying over 200 millimeters and a good swath extending all the way out there past Hanoi. Not to mention there's going to be that threat of a coastal storm surge too. So of course we still have the impacts here in Hainan, but once this goes over the Gulf of Tonkin, it's going to hit very warm sea surface temperatures. There is still some more impacts here in that forecast for our friends in Vietnam. Meanwhile, you just look at this graphic, the just girth, the wideness of this storm. First off, it's made for some good outflow loft. You have just unlimited moisture and fuel for the storm coming in with the southwest monsoon. Unfortunately, that has brought some flooding, continued rains across the west coast of Luzon, and that's all actually part of these feeder bands, this inflow pumping into the storm and also allowing it to get so strong. So look at that forecast from the Japan Meteorological Agency, having it taper off by Sunday as it moves off here towards the west, but coming on shore still with winds potentially sustained at about 130 to 140 kilometers per hour. So according to JMA, we're looking at about a Cat 2. But I think Gulf of Tonkin, it's very warm sea surface temperatures. So I wouldn't be surprised if we got a very defined eye wall coming on shore here Saturday morning into Vietnam with coastal surge, damaging winds, everything like that. The good news, as this moves away, conditions should improve with the tightness of the storm across parts of Hainan, at least as we go ahead into Friday overnight. By Saturday morning, you'll start to see some clearer conditions. But that is definitely some destructive weather in Hainan. And now moving over towards Vietnam, still going to be looking at that flood threat, especially in the low-lying delta areas here right along the coast. You're going to be looking at those water level rises. That's like the waves, actually. You can kind of see just 6 to 13 meters high. And our rainfall graphic giving you an idea. Everywhere in red indicating, based on this model from the ECMWF, 300 millimeters or more. Now, while we point at this, and I of course, this is the big story. You look back here towards the south, we also have inflow, which is going to set up with another kind of monsoonal gyre trying to develop towards the northeast of Luzon, and that means more rain on the west coast of the Philippines. Look at this. We got a low right there. Now watch as this kind of develops, and we almost get this broad circulation trying to kick up out here. You kind of see it right there. It's a monsoonal gyre. And as that potentially develops, that's going to enhance that monsoonal flow for northwestern Luzon especially. All the while, we look out here, we have another area that could be developing towards the south of Guam and impacting as we go ahead through Tuesday night into Wednesday, with maybe even a tropical storm. Could be stronger, but probably a tropical storm. You see the convection rate in here. Yeah, there's that area there. And then you kind of have your whole monsoonal gyre trying to develop there. And there's your inflow coming in behind the storm. The point is, we got a lot of moisture out here. We got very warm sea surface temperatures in the Western Pacific. There is a lot of potential for development. And at the very least, there's a lot of potential for increase in rainfall. Maybe not a full-on super typhoon, but still more showers. So Saturday, for our friends in the Philippines especially, maybe the least rainiest day. I think it's a proper description of it. Over the upcoming forecast, just because that enhanced monsoon is going to start to kick back in. Still talking about our cyclone, though. I wish the best of luck for all our friends in Vietnam. All the impacts. No way of getting around it on this storm system. So, yeah, be smart, be safe. 400,000 people in Hainan apparently evacuated ahead of the storm. It's about 500,000. So people are taking this seriously, and I do hope they continue to do so over the upcoming days. So big shout out to our sponsor. Big shout out to our sponsor who supports this channel, Ikani Surf Resort. Stop by. They still got a couple more days of their tournament going on, and it looks like a blast. They've been posting photos of it. So, all right, that's all for today. Stay dry, friends. Oof, and stay safe. This storm system, absolutely a beast.